Hi, and welcome back. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about all the content that I consumed instead of doom scrolling. Welcome back! So basically, I shot on both the camera and the webcam, but my camera footage got corrupted, so you only have the webcam left. Sorry guys, I hope it won't be too bad. Now, let me tell you something. Some of these are there for pure entertainment purposes. Some of them are enlightening, some of them are not. So, some of them I just consumed for pure entertainment purposes, okay? Randomly on like a Friday morning, I just did not want to open social media. Like I don't know why. I think I just my brain was like so sick of the fact that I had gone back to scrolling on my phone with zero self-restraint, and I think it was just getting so bad that my brain immediately was like, "Oh, we need to do something about it." And so one day I woke up and I'm just like, not going on social media today. And that was actually nearly 3 weeks ago. I have gone back on social media every now and then, but it's nowhere nearly as bad as it used to. But during that time, I obviously consumed a lot of other medias other than social media, and today we're gonna talk all about them. So yeah, let's get this party started, shall we? I made you guys like this really cute PowerPoint presentation just for you guys. Yeah. I did edit it, but this was a template. Shout out to the person that made this, by the way. So first of all, we're gonna talk about books. Now, the start of the year, at the start of this year, I made it a goal that I want to read as much as possible. And since I've been unemployed, I have read a lot. Like I think I've reached 30-ish books. Okay. So but yeah, I've gotten into a routine where in the morning I would read a nonfiction book and at night I would read a fictional book. And my current fiction book is The Brothers of Karamazov, by obviously Fyodor Dostoevsky. I think that's how you say his name. But this is such a good book. Like I have really been reading this quite a lot. I love this book a lot. I read this before I go to sleep. I also like when I go out and just when I take a book with me, even though it is so hard to take around because it's literally this big. It's 800 pages big, ginormous. But I have been reading it so much. Okay. Now I'm around like nearly 300 pages, so like nowhere even near in the middle of this book, but I've actually really been enjoying it. It's so good. At the beginning I think I was a little bit confused because there's just a lot of character introduction without much adding, like without understanding what this was adding to the whole book. But as it starts to make sense. There's a lot of conversations that are taking place that are super deep. Like there are times that I'm like, wow, and I like some of these conversations I would actually like tell other people about because I'm like, wow, this is like genuinely like it evokes thought in you. It's like such a good time. This was also like written during a time where I think Russia was like trying to become more secularized, trying to become like the rest of Europe. And so there was a lot of conversations about religion and secularization and the such. So the conversations that are being had, I think is like it's just commentary from Fyodor and him trying to invoke a lot of thoughts about this. And honestly, it's so much fun. It's so good. I really, really enjoyed these conversations and I'm really enjoying it. I think this book's gonna take me. I'm not done, obviously. It's gonna take me quite a bit because I feel like obviously it's a huge book, and I'm also not reading it as like extensively as I want to. But I feel like this book is meant to be consumed slowly and over a long period of time. But so far I'm really enjoying it. Also, who's your favorite Karamazov? Because for now, it's Alyosha. Okay. But we'll see. Ivan is a close second. I don't necessarily like Dimitri that much, but maybe that's gonna change later. God knows. Okay. Moving on to the next book, I read Teaching Critical Thinking by Bell Hooks. I loved this book so much. I already finished this. It touches upon like very important subjects, but in a way that is simple and easy to understand. And I've said this on this channel before, but I love it when authors can create a book that is impactful but also accessible in its language. Like to me, an author who can do that is far more talented than an author who speaks purely in jargon and in large words and try to like show off his knowledge in that sense, which is, it's awesome. Like if you're like this, it's awesome. But I feel like, to me as a native speaker, when someone can deliver something that is so big and large and important but in the simplest way possible, that just like earns me so much, like to me that earns so much more respect from me. And I just like, I love it when authors do that. This book is really good if you're interested in critical thinking. There's a lot of conversations about really important things and also like how to teach critical thinking. And I think it's so important for us to read books like this right now. It's a really good book. I really love Bell Hook's writing style. Like, goddamn, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this book. It was such a good book. It's also very short if you like really want to read it. It's very short. If you have like a really short attention span, the chapters are also very short. So you feel very accomplished when you finish one. You're like, ooh, I finished a chapter because it's so short. And I think it's a good book to read if you want to get out of your reading slumps. If you are in one, good book. Okay, highly recommend. But yeah, let's move on. Right now, I'm reading Right Wing Women by Andrea Dworkin, I think. Now, I picked up this book I saw this book in the store and I took a picture of it, and it was just in the feminist section. And from what I read, it's like, oh, it explains why right wing women act the way they do. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting, right? And there was like, something happened in my life where I'm like, why are women like this? And then I remembered this book and I was like, okay, you know what, I should read this book. Now, I didn't do much research about this or the author, but I realized apparently she's a radical feminist, which, I don't care. I'm down. I'm down. But yeah, so far I'm almost done, maybe. I think so. I think I'm almost done. This book is very interesting. There's a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with this author, specifically the way she speaks about certain subjects that I don't necessarily agree with, but at the same time I understand where she's coming from, and also understand how she made those conclusions. It is very interesting, to say the least. I think that everybody should read this regardless of her radical points of view. I think it's still very interesting subject to discuss. So yeah, so far I'm enjoying it, but I'm not quite done yet. So I'm gonna leave like my whole thoughts about this until I do my book wraps, which are bi-monthly. Is it bi-monthly? This bi-monthly, I forgot about this. I know this answer. I went to fucking econ school. I know this, but I don't know why for now I can't remember. Is it bi-monthly every 2 months or is it twice a month? I don't remember. Moving on to articles. Okay, I love Substack. I read a lot of Substack. I just want to say something. The Substack app on my phone, I have an iPhone X, okay? I have an iPhone X. And basically, we do not have iPhone 17, okay? iOS 17, sorry. Not iPhone 17, iOS 17. And right now, the Substack app is saying, like, it's gonna stop working if I don't update it to iOS 17. Babe, I don't have the capacity to do so. So please don't take away Substack from me. I'm begging you, please don't take Substack away from me. Now, a lot of people talk about whether or not basically Substack is social media, depending on what you think. It's different. But for me, I don't go on Substacks to read the notes. Very rarely do I scroll on the notes part. I go on there to read the articles. So to me, that doesn't feel like it is a social media. But I'm interested to see what you think of Substack. Do you think it is social media? But anyway, I don't know. I think Substack is far more interesting to read because it's regular people writing about what they think is important and what they think is a subject to discuss. And I find that so much more interesting than journalists, especially since a lot of journalists are not independent and a lot of them are trying to push forward, the propaganda or the narrative of the institutions they work for. So this to me feels a lot better and a lot more important and a lot more fun and more interesting. So I really, really, really love reading stuff on Substack. But yeah, I read two articles. I read more than two articles, but I feel like these two articles are I loved so much that I kind of resonated with that I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this in the video. So yeah, let's talk about it. First one is how to live in the discomfort of learning instead of running away from it. This article is okay because I feel like I personally relate to the subject, which is exactly why I clicked on it. But this article basically discusses the discomfort we face when we learn something new. And um whenever I learn, like, to me, like, the reason why I clicked on it is because whenever I learn something new, I always get angry at myself that I'm not immediately a fucking professional at it. And I truly hate that period in the middle where it is like discomfort. There's like a sense of discomfort you feel because you are not immediately good at that thing. And I always get so angry at myself and so upset, and it gets to a point where I no longer wish to engage in that activity anymore. So this is like a subject that I genuinely resonate with because I'm like, this is me. I kind of cured this a little bit when I learned how to bike last year at the prime age of 24, by the way. But I've always wanted to learn how to bike. My parents never taught me. And whenever I see people riding their bikes, I would get so jealous. I'm like, oh my God, look at these people riding on their bikes, and I don't know how to do it. And I always used to get upset. And then I finally learned. By the way, it took me 2 hours. It took me 2 hours to learn. 2 hours of discomfort, and this whole lifetime I was like, and I even like really thought about like buying a tricycle. Like, a tricycle, like a bike, it has one wheel and then has two wheels in the back, and there's like it's cute, it's a very cute bike, okay? But I was like willing to do that over actually learn how to bike. But when I learned how to bike, if you are an adult and you've never biked, okay, it's not hard. It is not hard. It takes a few. It is like it'll take you like a few hours. I think to me it took me a few hours, and then I was able to balance and drive off. And there was like the sense of like the whole time I was just. Was purely like psychological. I was scared that I was gonna swerve into things, and because of that, I swerved. Okay, but once I learned that I just need to look forward and that's it, it worked. um, but yeah, I was convinced that I was never be able to learn how to bike, and then I just did it, and that joy of learning it and doing it, it was so good that it made me want to try other things, and it actually like fixed a little bit of that fear in me towards not wanting to learn new things. um but yeah, this article really speaks specifically about that. Is the middle ground of when you're learning something new and failing miserably at it and getting embarrassed like beyond means. And one of my favorite quotes that I actually restacked specifically is the following: still, the middle is painful because it tests your ego. Most of us don't want to look foolish, even in private. We do not want to hear our own off-key singing voice or reread the awkward dialogue we just wrote. But learning demands a temporary surrender of pride. You can't learn while protecting your image at the same time. You have to allow yourself to sound clumsy, to look unpolished, and admit that you're not there yet. It feels like a loss in the moment, a loss of dignity, a loss of certainty, but in reality, the ground clearing itself and something else can grow. Okay, sorry, I suck at reading out loud. Always had that problem. In school it was hard, but yeah, you get the gist. It is basically telling you to it that it is okay. It is okay to feel embarrassed. It's okay to look foolish. It's okay to freak out that you're gonna swerve and you're gonna hit the tree or the people or anything. Overcome that loss of ego for a very short period of time, or sometimes a very long time, a lot of time, and then continue regardless. And you can get to something and somewhere that you desperately want to get, and that is what's important. This article talks about it in like so much more details. Highly recommend reading this. I will link it down below if you're interested. But let's move on to the next article. The second article is called "Stop Looking at Each Other." Honestly, the best description of this article is actually perfectly encapsulated by this quote from the article. So we're gonna read it real quick. Again, suck at reading out loud. Okay, don't make fun of me. Okay. 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 We often compare social media to Orwell's surveillance state of 1984. But what's different about our telescreens? Our screens do not exist to monitor us, but for us to monitor others. There is no totalitarian state behind our screens enforcing social order. Instead, the screens turn us into the supervisors of each other's behavior. The dangers of social media isn't that we are being watched, it's that we have become the watchers. I know. When I read that, I was like, damn. But basically, this is what this article is discussing: is that we are essentially constantly surveilling one another, but not just one another, but ourselves. And it's actually connected to another article that I read, and I have no idea if I can pull it up. But it was discussing how that even in private, we're constantly performing for an imaginary audience, and it gets to a point where we actually start censoring ourselves even in private because of we are constantly envisioning that there is someone surveilling us. Really, really complex, but basically it is starting to get to a point where we have very unhealthy patterns with social media. There is an extreme parasocial relationships that we are starting to develop for one another, and it's honestly becoming a major, major issue. Like doing it for one another, but also we're doing it for influencers. We're doing it for our friends, for our influencers, for YouTubers, for celebrities. Every single thing we're basically developing this major, major parasocial relationship. I think we are starting to notice how bad parasocial relationships are very recently, especially with the whole, TwitchCon issue with Imaru. But um, this is basically what this author is discussing, and it heavily criticizes influencers and YouTubers and the such, and a lot of which I agree with, despite the fact that I am filming this video and I am posting it online for you guys to think. But I still find it very interesting and very important for us to have conversations about the constant surveillance of ourselves and of others. Um, and one of the quotes that I really enjoyed that I wanted to put on here is the following: to leave the ecosystem, to form an identity independent of what other people see. It means to leave your avatar behind. In a way, start from scratch. Who watches whom, and who watches the watcher? Stop looking around and look up. Stop looking at each other and look into your North Star. Don't let social comparison make you lose sight of what you care about. Don't let social media blur your senses of what matters. Um, that basically is it. It's a very interesting article. I will link it down below for you guys to read. But let's move on to others. And the first one I'm going to talk about is music. Okay. Well, I have like very recently organically started to really really get into 90s indie music. At first it started with this song, which is Here's Where the Story Ends by the Sundays. I was so obsessed with this song. I would literally listen to it every single day. Like, guys, I was obsessed with it and I loved it so much. And then also organically I started listening to Save Me by Amie Mann, and I listened to the song so much. And then afterwards, I made the connection that they're both like were released in the 90s, and they both sound like very much like has like a 90s style music, which I realized I love so much. So I started listening to all of these 90s music playlists and even more songs about that. And I got into two songs that I really, really got into. First one is Common People by the Pulp. Not usually the type of music I would be into, like it is rock, which is something I like, but specifically this I don't know, I think it makes me laugh. I think it makes me laugh, but about a guy who like meets a girl and she's like hella loaded and have a baby, and she's like, I want to live like poor people. I want to live like the common people, and he's kind of making fun of her the whole song, but it's really good. I think it's very funny. And then the other song that I really liked is Ironic by Alanis Morissette. I don't know how to say her name, but it's really fun. And then when I listen to the song, I feel like I was transcended back into my childhood, and I loved it so much. So yeah, really good songs, guys. You should everybody should really get back into 90s music, and I think that all modern music should go back to making music the way in the 90s, the way we made music in the 90s, because superior guys, superior. Anyway, let's move on to shows. So I was really into K dramas growing up. Okay, that was my shit, K dramas, and I basically have always watched K dramas over the course. I think K dramas are really good, guys. You should get into them. You guys should watch Plankton, Mr. Plankton. Highly recommend. But yeah, I started like I kind of fell off the K drama vibe since Mr. Plankton, and I've started to get back into K dramas, and it's just like there's nothing better than shutting your brain off and just watching K dramas for hours. Like literally peak escapism, guys, peak escapism. But yeah, I started this show. I actually clicked on the show because it has two of the veterans, like K-drama actor veterans, which is Kim Woo-ben and Suzy, and I was like, of course I'm gonna watch the show. Come on, dude, like of course I'm gonna watch it. It's called Genie Make a Wish. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay. This show was inspired by the Middle East, which is obviously not shocking considering the title. But the thing is they took folklore of genies, right? Which is, Genie to Make a Wish is a folklore story, right? The genie in a lamp. And they kind of mixed they mixed it with Islam. Okay, they took Islam, they took this folklore story, and they were like, we're gonna mix it together. And the male character was introducing himself. I was like so weirded out because, by the way, hello, Middle Eastern. Okay, so I was watching the show going, okay, this is kind of weird, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I just maybe I've never experienced anyone like using my culture even in a positive manner before. So maybe I'm just like getting used to it, right? So I'm just sitting there listening, right? Listening to watching, and he's starting to introduce himself, and I'm like, this sounds super familiar. Okay, this is very familiar, very very familiar. And slowly I began to realize that this is the story of Iblis. Okay. And I'm like, no, there's no way they're not gonna make it about Iblis. No way they're making it about Iblis. And then he goes, I am Iblis. And I just, guys, I couldn't help but laugh. Okay, I couldn't help it. I couldn't take it seriously. It's just like it was so odd and so weird, and it was funny, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So anyway, you know what? I was like, "It's weird that they chose Iblis of all the Jin stories, of all the fucking folklore that we have. They chose Iblis. Fine, okay. The research department didn't do too good of a job. Okay, let's continue. Let's see what's gonna happen, right?" And then there's a scene of God talking to him. First of all, they depict God as the Grim Reaper, which is so funny. Okay, it is so funny. The funniest part of all of that is that he's standing on the Dubai Eye. And this man, okay, is supposedly speaking in Arabic. Now, as a native speaker, I'm like increasing the volume. Like, what is this man saying? Could not understand because this was not a native speaker. This was a Korean man trying to speak in Arabic and failing miserably. Does not know how to pronounce anything. So it was the funniest thing ever. I was so shocked. You know what? I was so shocked that the conservatives allowed the show to go on because I'm like, how come no one's talking about this? Like, this was very disrespectful. Okay, but yeah, I was a bit confused, but I was like. I don't know what to do. Like I was like, maybe the show's still good. Like maybe yes, they fucked up a little. They made a few disrespectful things here and there, but maybe it's a good show, and I started continuing it, and then the flying scene came on. It was just so Twilight esque, but like not in a good way, and I just like I couldn't do anymore. Like they're just like our guys. There's a fucking text message between me and my sister. I don't know if I can pull it up, but I screenshot like I took a picture of my screen. I go. I can't do this anymore. And he's flying over the what was it? The Museum of the Future in Dubai. And he's flying over that. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. and I literally dropped it right there and there because I just like it was too much. Like you know what? It was very Orientalist in its own way, but at the very fucking least, first of all, they filmed it in an Arab country. Second of all, they did not create a set in which we all wore like extremely like old traditional style clothing and lived in tents and rode camels to school. Like at the very fucking least, they weren't that orientalist, still disrespectful, but in a refreshing new kind of way. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's move on. Next, I watched a show which is called The World of the Married. Now, this is not your typical K drama. It's more of a soap opera, actually. But I was here for the drama. Okay, let me tell you what, I was here for the drama. Um, Basically, she discovers that her husband's a cheater, and essentially she's trying to destroy him. Like that's the whole plot of the story. So satisfying. Okay, and it's specifically because she's the breadwinner and he's kind of nothing without her. So like it is like so interesting. um but yeah, it is a really good story. I'm really enjoying it. Last episode, however, I was literally so done with her. Like, I literally am contemplating as we speak whether or not I wish to continue the show, because she's losing the plot so hard. Okay? So hard. She's losing the plot so hard. She's losing me. I was rooting for her. Now, I don't know if I can. Okay? But yeah, really good story nonetheless. You guys should watch it. All right, let's move on to games. Okay, I have been playing games. I like to play games on my Switch because my laptop is not capable of holding anything, any game. Like, the Sims barely works on my laptop. Okay, but I have been playing two games a lot lately. First one is Tiny Bookshop. This is such a cute game. It's a management game, and basically you have a tiny bookshop that is like a trailer essentially, and then you move it from one location to another, and it's a management game. So basically each location has preferences, and the decoration affects the sales and everything, so you have to like kind of figure out a perfect formula for each location, like stacking up the books, like knowing what to stock. It's like it is just like a game that you kind of essentially turn off your brain and just play, and it's just so much fun. I genuinely enjoy it so much. I really love it. It's cute, it's cozy, it's perfect for the fall if you're looking for something to play. And yeah, you just like, there's a cute characters that kind of talk to you every now and then. It's like you're chilling in your bookshop and you're selling books. It's just cute. And all the books, oh, and people will come over and be like, ask you for recommendations, and you have to like go through your shop and look for recommendations for them, and they're all real books. So it's so interesting, like especially when I get a book that I've read before, I just get so fucking excited. I'm like, I know what to get you, girl. But yeah, it's very cool, very interesting. Highly recommend. I really do. Next up is Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Now this is a quest game. Now this is if Dreamlight Valley and Animal Crossing had a baby, but it's actually closer to Dreamlight Valley, okay? But it's such a cute game. It's essentially all the Sanrio characters, and you all are on this island, and you live together on this island, and you just do quests the entire time. I love this game. This game is everything that I love from Animal Crossing, but also everything that I wished I got from Animal Crossing. Because after a certain point in Animal Crossing, you kind of have run out of things to do. You've kind of finished the game, and it's just a lot of free playing, which I really enjoy, by the way. I really enjoy the free playing. But it gets to a point where you kind of get bored and you stop playing it as much, and it's really sad because I love Animal Crossing so much. This game doesn't have that. Like, this game, there's constantly things to do, there's constantly quests that are happening, things to do. There's different seasons, and different seasons have different quests, and like it's a lot of fun. And like, even when you multiply, like multiple player, like when I play with my friends or my sister, we have our own, like they'll give you guys quests to make, to do together, and it's like a different fucking story. It's cool, it's so cool. I really enjoyed it. It's like, it's, to me, it's just perfect. I really like it. It's a kind of a game that you will play for hours. Like, genuinely, you cannot finish this quickly. You will play this game for hours. But it's so much fun. It's really interesting. It's just a cool game. And also, huge map. Oh my god, huge map. Like, I have explored so much of it, but I still, like, the teleportation thing. Yeah, I still have spots I haven't gotten. I'm like, I don't even know where would they be, because I feel like I've been everywhere, but supposedly I haven't been. So like I'm so excited like to discover other spots. But yeah, such a good game. Like genuinely, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, like the developers, y'all popped off. Honestly, really, really good game. But yeah, well, that is all for today. This is all the media that I've consumed on my 3 day or 3 week, sorry, social media detox. Which one of these did you like more? I really, really enjoyed the articles. I love reading Substack articles, but sometimes I read articles that I like, they're good, but sometimes I'm like, I want more. So I added only the ones that I thought were like genuinely, really, really good. But yeah, I really enjoy like doing social media detoxes. But the only thing that I like kind of don't like, I feel like this is a conversation to have. But the only thing like I kind of don't like about social media detoxes is that yes, while you're doing them, it feels great and everything. But once you go back to social media, which you will, because huge parts of our lives all rely on social media, when you get back into them, uh, you basically go back to the same habits. So I feel like I've been trying to use social media, but in a way that will not push me back into those endless doom scrolling era of my life. But I still have a hard time actually doing it. So if you have any tips on how to regulate uh, social media usage, let me know because I desperately need it. Desperately. Okay. Desperately. Anyway, this is it for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.